Hey everybody, Ryan here at eTrailer. Today on our 2020 Honda CRV, we're going to be taking a look at the Thule Helium Pro Hitch Mounted Bike Rack. One of the big questions that we get asked all the time in regards to hitch mounted bike racks is if you're still going to be able to have full access to the back of your SUV. This one does fold down out of the way and allows us to do that. If you move right here, you have a lever, you pull up on it, swing this down, and when it's like this, it's going to give us more than enough room to open up the back of our Honda and get anything we might need in and out. So the rack that we have here today on the back of our Honda can hold up to a total of 2 bikes, but if you need to carry an extra one, there's a 3-bike version available as well. But with that being said, my first impressions of the rack on the back of the CRV is I think it looks really good. It's kind of a perfect matchup as far as the appearance goes and as far as how high it's going to hold our bike. So if it were me, this is probably exactly where I'd want them. If you look in the rear view when you're driving down the road, you can still see your bikes, make sure they're riding okay, but they're not going to be up so high that they're really going to block or obstruct your view completely, which is always a nice thing. Now, the way the rack works is really simple. It's going to secure our bike down in 3 spots. So we're going to have 2 straps here on the top tube and a strap down here. That's going to act as an anti-sway strap. That way it's going to help eliminate any side-to-side movement, and we shouldn't have to worry about our bikes kind of banging into each other as they're going down the road. It's also going to have an integrated lock, which is really cool. So say if you maybe swing to the gas station or maybe get a bite to eat before or after the trails, you're not going to have to constantly kind of keep an eye on your bikes to make sure no one's running off with them. So give you a little extra peace of mind there. Now the way to take the bike off, very simple. You have these straps here, and when you push down on the tabs, you're able to loosen them up, kind of swing them out of the way. And the same deal for this one down here. Then we're able to easily grab our bike and pull it off. The arms are relatively narrow, so we shouldn't have to kind of wiggle or fight the bike off by any means. So the cradles here where our bike's frame is going to sit are somewhat adjustable. That way you can kind of accommodate for the style of frame that you got. And it's going to have a soft rubber on top of that cradle, as well as on the bottom of the strap. So when our bike's sitting there, we're not going to have to worry about it tearing up the paint or anything like that. However, I do suggest with these straps, just to put them back in place whenever we're not using the rack. That way we don't have to worry about anything happening to them. So whenever we do have the rack on the back of our CRV, it is going to extend the overall length of it. So to find out exactly how much, we measure from the hatch here to the very edge of the rack. Looks like it's going to be about 31 inches. So something you just want to kind of keep in the back of your mind whenever you're pulling into your garage or maybe even that tight parking spot. Now the arms do fold down whenever we're not going to need to use a rack, and that'll free up some space. You pull up on the lever, you can swing these down, and that makes it pretty compact. So we'll take that same measurement again, and in this position, looks like it's only going to add about 19 inches to the back of your Honda. So with the like this, really don't see it giving you any problems whenever you do go to pull into your garage or that tight spot. So moving down here, the rack is going to work with the 1¼ by 1¼ receiver tube openings like we have here today on our CRV. But it also has the ability to work with the larger 2" by 2" receiver tube openings. So definitely gives us some versatility there. It's going to have an integrated hitch pin, which is always nice. That's one less component you are not going to have to worry about picking up separately or keeping track of. And it's also going to have this knob here. When you tighten this down, it's going to act as an anti-rattle device. That's going to eliminate any slop or play in the connection point. So not only is it going to provide our bikes a little more of a smooth ride as well, but going to help keep things nice and quiet inside of our Honda. To give you an example on how it works, say if we're driving down the road and we're hitting some bumps, you can see that the rack is going to move with our CRV and not on its own. So at the end of the day, a very well-built easy to use bike rack, and honestly I think it looks pretty awesome on the back of the CRV. These Hondas have really sharp lines, and the Thule kind of has those lines to match it, so it almost blends right in. And if you're anything like me, you always want to see the product you're interested in action. So let's go ahead and load this up with some bikes, take it out on the test course, and see how it performs. This is our test course. Let's start with the slalom. This shows side-to-side action, such as turning corners or evasive maneuvering. Then, onto our alternating speed bumps. This shows twisting action, such as hitting curbs, potholes, road debris, or even uneven pavement. Last of all, the solid speed bumps. This shows up and down action, such as driving through a parking lot or parking garage, or driving in and out of a driveway. And that'll finish up our look at of the Thule Helium Pro hitch-mounted bike rack on our 2020 Honda CRV.